Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, this isn't really a news story, but it's just something I sort of thought about talking about. Rocco, Madonna's son, just had another birthday, and Madonna posted some pictures of him that was supposed to show their tumultuous relationship or something, and I'm like, they just look like pictures of him being younger. Now I remember when she did the Tears of a Clown show, he had just run away, and she was trying to get him back through the courts, and he was being an absolute little a-hole. And he kind of ruined the Madonna tour of Australia because she was so miserable and didn't want to deal with the press that she didn't do any interviews, she didn't do anything. And you could tell she was really, really messed up about it when she was talking to the audience, and that you could feel her energy just sinking and looked like she was going to cry, and the audience sort of had to sort of pump her up a bit, and it was just really kind of sad because, you know, obviously he was just a spoiled brat and he just wanted to go home to his dad and be a rich playboy kid and not have to actually do anything, whereas she had him on the tour working and you know, doing something, instead of just being, you know, some rich person's kid, a rich kid. And then the whole issue of Nepo Babies will sort of come up in sort of the discussion about him, and I'm like, he's acting like he's not a Nepo baby. I'm like, you're a Nepo baby. You are the son of one of the most iconic, most famous women in the world, and she's very rich, so you're very rich. And what have him or any of the kids done? They've done nothing. Lourdes has done some really mid attempts at music. I won't call them actual music, and she can't do anything because she's got this dead face that doesn't emote. Like, I just call her dead face. She just is. She just has this mask all the time on her head, and it just like. So yeah. So she hasn't done anything. He hasn't done anything. Now he's had some art exhibits, but that's not much of an achievement, because if my mum was Madonna, I'd be able to get someone to put up an exhibit for me too. If Madonna was going to show up at the opening, and that for sure. That's just fact. So it doesn't prove anything now. I don't know how you get past the Nepo Baby thing, because if you're associated with someone famous and people just want to work with you or be around you, you can't really get away from that. So how would you even know if you're being valued or being assessed like any other person would be based on your value, as opposed to, you know, who you're related to and the allure that comes with you or the whatever. So yeah, they're Nepo Babies. I haven't seen any of them do anything that would warrant, you know, their existence on their own without their mother. Lourdes even did a cover of Frozen, for God's sake. She's just an embarrassment. He at least seems to have some interest in painting. I don't think he's particularly good. I haven't seen anything he's done that was good or interesting. And the thing he got the most attention for, I think, was a portrait of his mother. And he was just copying a picture of her, a still of her, I think, from one of her videos, or some iconic image of her. I don't think it was even like a portrait he did of her, a picture he did of her from just his actual experience of her as his mother. It was a picture of Madonna. So yeah, they're definitely Nepo Babies. I don't understand why there's even a discussion. Now, some people don't want to be associated with their parents, and if they're lucky enough to have been raised out of the spotlight and they can just do their own thing and no one knows who they are, they change their names, they do all that. You know, Rocco and that aren't doing any of that. He went on tour with her, he went on stage with her, he was like DJing and dancing and everything, and he was only there because he was her son. You know, it's just like, so yeah. He just seems like a spoiled brat. He seems to take after his father, and his father's a jerk, his mother's a bitch. He doesn't have much chance of being a decent person, as far as I can see. And I love Madonna, but she's a total bitch. She always has been, always will be. And, you know, we all know Guy was a dick and allegedly homophobic as well. So yeah, he didn't have much chance. I don't think any of them really did. We don't hear much about Lourdes' father, but I mean, like, yeah, she still turned out like that. So I don't know. Maybe the adopted kids, because David seems pretty decent. But I mean, God, Madonna moved her whole life to Lisbon, ruined her career. She's never recovered from Lisbon. She came back and she just wasn't Madonna. No one really recognises who the hell she was. And Madame X, who the hell was that? he went there because wanted to be a soccer player, so that the whole family lifted up and went to Lisbon so he could train for soccer. Is he a soccer player? Did he even try out for anything? I don't think so. He's done some creative artistic things, but that's all in the shadow of his mother, all, just associated with, Madonna, and he hasn't really done anything himself. So, I don't know. Mercy at least can play piano. She's got some skill. The other two just look like a couple little brats. They've just gone into that teenage era where they're just like, you don't see them in photos of Madonna anymore, and when you do, they're sort of like, ugh. Madonna's like smiling, and they're like, ugh. Nepo Babies, no redemption. Sorry. Happy birthday, Rocco.